The balcony rooms. The future is inevitable. A sigh of relief leaves the lungs. Survival difficulty. Class 0. Safe. Habitable. Devoid of fear. Description. The future, despite being something every being experiences, is something almost no sole individual ever has full control over. Whilst humans may be able to change minute aspects about their own brief futures, the wider world, and even the worlds beyond, are something the average population cannot even begin to control. From the small things out of their grasp, such as illness or tax, to the larger elements, like war and drought, the future is a cruel creature to all. For many, the impalpable nature of what's to come is a frighteningly morbid and existential concept, which makes most intentionally not think about the subject or the subject their mind deeply within it. Whilst neither side of the extreme are favorable, it is simply the two options most strive for their own benefit. Level 371 is a boundlessly massive monotone assortment collection of wide and convolutedly shaped empty offices, all of which have their floors frequently interspersed with large gaping holes within the ground that drop into an ever-expansive cloudy void. The disorderly array of rooms can take any shape, no matter how simple or complex, just so long as the shape itself is Euclidean. The construction of the walls themselves is that of a typical plaster build, with a smooth and durable texture and indestructible figuration. The rooms, more often than not, are painted in mixtures of white, blue-gray, and yellow-gray, interspersed with monotonous white. However, it is not uncommon for certain rooms to have sudden random colors of paint, murals, artwork, or any variety of anomalous fixtures on the walls. The only form of anomalous decoration within levels 371 that does not seem to appear is any form of furniture, which has never once been documented or substantiated. Beneath the illimitable expanse of empty off-white rooms lies a similarly illimitable expanse of sky blue and cool gray clouds. Whilst known and regarded by wanderers as a void, the unbounded infinity below this level's tangible rooms is akin to the atmosphere of a terrain. The color of the sky, as well as the existence of clouds within it, suggests that the area of air has a breathable makeup suitable for respiration. Void openings never take up the entirety of a room's floor canvas, and in extremely rare cases, do not appear in some quarters at all. Instead, these gaping openings below usually appear within the center of these spaces, with enough carpet or marble flooring to skirt around the middle of the hole. These openings do not contain any form of railing or protection to prevent oneself from falling into them. The area of the walkable floor that remains is often wide enough to prevent tumbling inside these gaping mouths of air. However, it must be noted that the openings within these rooms do sometimes break this unspoken rule. Some may have no floor, only contain small breaches, walkways across the middle of the room, or others can have their walkable areas split in half by an uncrossable moat of void. From the words of every wanderer that has ever stepped foot within level 371, these gaping openings into the familiar abyss below are incredibly unsettling, inflicting an odd sense of fear upon those who gaze down. Most travelers who come to this level steer clear of the openings regardless of the size, as the darting fear of tumbling head over heels into infinity is too great a risk to even try to peek over and look into. Should one fall into one of these holes, whether accidentally or on purpose, then the individual will be swiftly met with the underside of the rooms, as well as the sky blue air and cool gray clouds. Many individuals, especially ones who have fallen through the beyond for minutes, report feeling worry, anxiousness, and even fears of mortality among a few timid individuals. Regardless of whoever or whatever is dropped into the openings, all items that ebb into the void are quickly returned and placed at a safe and comfortable distance away from the hole where they fell within, as to not repeat the process that was just undergone. This return travel, which usually betides a few moments after falling, can be repeated infinitely, and within any hole into the void one chooses to use. Anxieties. No life permeates in level 371's walls due to a complete lack of any perishables, drinking water, as well as the fact that no two living beings are ever able to meet up within the same space. Since no two rooms have ever been recorded twice, it can be assumed that the infinite size of this landscape is the key factor as to why people are unable to interact with each other. As such, the only entity that exists within level 371 is yourself, as any other inklings of life are a greater infinite away from wherever you are positioned. Bases, outposts, and communities. For the exact reasons above, no communities can even attempt to flourish within this infinite multitude of rooms. In fact, staying within the level for more than a few days without proper comestibles and water can leave someone vulnerable to starvation, or most likely, dehydration. Attached information. While unsubstantiated, rumors among groups state that an unnamed wanderer had found a rather large and exuberant stash of food and water. It was piled haphazardly at a cross-section of walkways suspended above a void. It is stated that a note was found buried deep within the stash of goods, and whilst the actual contents of the note have been remixed and translated multiple times, the original note is believed to have had the following transcribed onto it. To whom this may find its way to. I'm unsure whether or not anyone will be able to find this note. I've never met another person on my frequent visits to this landscape, nor have I heard stories about teams or groups of people ever staying as one group when entering the scene itself. Still, though, I've decided to leave this cornucopia, lest anyone is somehow able to find it. Should this place be impossibly large instead of just supernaturally isolating, I hope this message can someday reach someone. Like most people from home, I am an avid traveler. I greatly enjoy adventuring from oddball universe to oddball universe, as each scene I have ever witnessed has always opened up my eyes that shred amount further, allowing me to see things I never thought possible, even in an excess of worlds like here. Many of my more close-minded, depthless friends look at this level, one which I prefer to call the air rooms, and cast it aside haphazardly, viewing it in a similar eye to other levels of similar emptiness and shape. I, however, see a more sparkly and layered message that paints its dreariness with extravagance. It may very well be something only me, and me alone, has ever deduced, and it may be far from accurate, but it is something that makes me adore these rooms deeply. To me, this scape is almost out of a meditative tool that I adore to frequent regularly. A large, empty, and lonely place, formed of architecture similar to what I feel familiar with, yet also designed in a way that feels so alien. From the gaping holes in the floor, to the odd inclusions along the walls and floors, to even the strange, odd noises I occasionally hear permeating the level. These, features alone are enough to make the otherwise generic, infinite office landscape feel more zen. Even with all these properties and features that catch my eye and make me feel at peace, it is, without a doubt, the void and its properties which seal this landscape as my personal getaway. It is only within a piece of paper that I can even begin to spill my deep-rooted issues in my life, as I feel vocalizing them is a step too far than I would ever be able to take in my current state of mind. However, to dance around the subject matter whilst trying to address it, the future is an ever-approaching cruel demon, and one that runs my blood cold. Many take what comes in stride or simply shrug off, or bear through any misfortune that tomorrow or the days after beneath them with. That, unfortunately, is not a superpower I was ever blessed with. I frequently find myself worrying about what's to come, especially in this nexus of worlds we all reside in. The possibility of injury or death to myself or others. The possibility of having to move, run out of food, get trapped in a scene no one has ever seen, or get mauled to death by a creature no one has ever known. Those possibilities, some of which are unique to our oddball landscape, are ones that petrify me to my core and make me terrified on what's the morrow. These voids, however, constantly remind me to get back up and continue on fighting through whatever the future bears. Whilst the content of the voids or lack thereof is not calming nor zen, instead the fact that every time an individual returns upon falling into it is the main driver for my new lease on the future and what it holds. The chain of events, from one falling into the void to re-emerging back where they started, is a mesmerizing cycle that reflects how I wish to be able to act in the face of the future. I wish, should I suddenly be plunged into a scary scenario that batters me to my knees, that I may be able to eventually get back on track to where I was before, having learned a new thing or two. It's a metaphorical connection only I myself have conjured, and may come off as bizarre to many people, but it is my own way to perceive beauty and zen from this landscape, and the way I set aside this indoor space from all the others that are similar in design to it. Entrances and exits. Entrances. Leaping over the railing of level 54, Stairwell of Spirals, and falling down the center for a considerable amount of time will eventually lead one to this level. Noclipping through any bridges made of carpet in level 63, Tranquility, will put one in level 371. Exits. Going into any visible air ducts along the skirting of the walls will go to level 96, the ductwork. Any staircases that head upwards will lead to level 280, foggy staircases. Finding islands of grass in the middle of the openings into the void that are connected to the floor by bridges will lead one to level 149, the Coconut Isles, or level 756. On Big Island live only one cow.